Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're so happy to be with you on this Shabbat. I feel like every time we start our services, I look out the window because I face a window in my home sanctuary here. And so one of the things that I always notice is the weather and what it looks like outside. And I think that that is part of my pulling in from my environment to make this space holy. And so today, as I have been looking outside, I've been watching the rain. I have been enjoying the fact that I don't think it quite hit 80 degrees yet today. And I just feel like our world is maybe, our state is maybe taking a little breath. And as we make our way deeper into Elul, and we make our way deeper into this season of reflection, which we know comes in fall. It comes as the heat starts to wane just a little bit. We get closer to this time of introspection and our moments of combining our Shabbat practice and observance with our Elul practice. So, Cantor, tell us a little bit about our services this evening.
Yes, thank you, Rabbi. So, as you may have already recognized, we are transitioning into the music of our High Holy Day season. And so, throughout the service tonight, you will hear melodies that hopefully are familiar to some of you, maybe new to some of you who are joining us tonight, or maybe just new interpretations of melodies that you've known for a long time. And you will hear certain themes, musical themes, that repeat themselves over and over again throughout our service. And this is all to prepare our souls, to prepare our mouths, and to prepare our minds as we head into the High Holy Day season. So relax into it. Let it surround you like a really wonderful speaker system. And we will have a really beautiful evening celebrating both Shabbat and the holy sounds of the season.
We begin by centering ourselves here in this Shabbat evening and getting ready to welcome Shabbat in. Before we slip too quickly into the season of the soul, let there be a Sabbath of Sabbaths for the heart. Before the music of creation's majesty, let there be silent praise of existence. Before the feast of sanctified words, let there be a poetry of solitude. Before we enter the palaces of prayer, let us find within ourselves a place of calm. Before we revel in the wondrous and sublime, let there be an honest inward gaze. And before the rites and ceremonies of awe, let there be quieter days, an island of attentiveness.
We begin by kindling our Shabbat lights as we welcome a little bit of light into the darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And as we prepare to bring Shabbat in, we remember that we are given the instructions, Shamor v'Zachor et Yom HaShabbat, that we are supposed to guard and keep this day of Shabbat. But Zachor and Shamor both also mean they're words of memory. And I think one of the lessons we're supposed to learn as we enter into Lecha Dodi is that we're not supposed to leave our week behind, right? When we take that big deep breath, which you can do, oh, that was a good one. It's not because we're leaving the week, whatever it was, behind us. It's because we're getting ready to take it in with us, to use Shabbat, to understand it. And so we guard and we keep this day and we keep the rest of the week as well. We take it all in with us as we sing together the words of Lecha Dodi.
And now we take a moment to rise physically or spiritually as we transition to our Baruch Hu.
Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk, as your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars, arrayed across the sky, reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living eternal God, be our sovereign until the end of time. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, creator of twilight and dusk. Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. Read together with me. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love, for you are blessed, the one who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one.
You shall love the ones who are close, with all your heart, with all your spirit, with all your strength. Remember these words. Inscribe them on your heart. Love them when they struggle, when they sadden and disappoint you. Love them when they fail. See the good within them, even when they can't. Look at them and listen, even when it's hard. Be grateful for their guidance, even their reproof, when they save you from yourself. Love them when they give you joy, and love them when they don't. When you lie down, let go of anger. When you rise up at dawn, begin again. Praise them for their deeds at home. Speak to them in public with respect. Bind yourself to the ones you love with promises kept and vows fulfilled. Open to them the gates of your heart, the doorway of your soul, and let them know you. So shall the ones you cherish feel your love, your presence, and your care. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. When Israel went forth from Egypt, we went forth. Behind us now, the speech of strangers. Ahead, the freedom to speak our own words and discover the holy. Witnessing this, the great sea fled. The river changed its course. The mountains danced like rams, the hills like sheep. Sea, river, mountains, what has become of you? Why flee, change course? Why dance like rams and sheep? Stand in awe, all the earth. The God of Jacob turns rock to water, stone to a gushing stream. Life changes course in an instant. Sing from the heart, awaken to life's wonders. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, eternal power, the one who redeemed Israel. Only in you my soul finds quiet. My rescue comes from you. You, my rock, still point of the turning world. I hold fast and will not fall.
This year, as we will discover in just a few weeks, Rosh Hashanah and Shabbat coincide. And so we think about that as one of the moments in our tradition when we take an ultimate pause, where we reflect not just on the week that has been, but on the year that has been. And so in that spirit, we sing this Vishamru, the original commandment to celebrate Shabbat, that really lets us be lost in this idea and this moment of breath and pause and rest.
That was so beautiful. I love that. Wow. We take that with us into our silent prayer as we prepare for our tefillah. And so we read together before the silent prayer. Some slip the hood of their prayer shawls over their heads, so that even among many worshipers, they are alone with God. Primo Levi wrote about the sadness of a cart horse shut between two shafts and unable even to look sideways. Let me be like the pious ones or that horse, so that even amidst a crowd, no other crosses the threshold of my dreaming.
unable physically or spiritually for tefillah.
הגיבור והנורא, העליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
Your life-giving power is forever, Adonai, with us in life and in death. You liberate and save, cause dew to descend, and with mercy abundant, lovingly nurture all life. From life to death, you are the force that flows without end. You are faithful, even to those who rest in the dust. Power beyond power, from whom salvation springs, sovereign over life and death, who is like you? Merciful God, who compares with you? With tender compassion, you remember all creatures for life. Faithful and true, worthy of our trust, you sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying trust. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Wellspring of blessing, power eternal, you are the one who gives and renews all life.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בך יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני הקדוש.
We take a moment now for the prayers of our hearts.
Within me, and let my soul wake up in your light. Open me to your presence, flood me with your Holy Spirit, and I will stand and sing out the power of your forgiveness, and I will teach your love to the lonely, and the lost will find their way home. You lerat sorunim refi ve'yon libi lefanecha Adonai tsuri ve'goali Adonai tsuri ve'goali.
And we have made our way to our Torah service this evening. But before we do that, as usual, let's learn a little bit about our Torah portion and what it has to teach us. In this week's Torah portion, which is Teitzei, we are at the end of the main speech that Moses gives at the book, in the book of Deuteronomy. And this Parsha has 74 of the 613 commandments. It's the most commandments that are in any specific individual Parsha. And we're given a lot of laws that govern how we interact with other people, personally and professionally. We're given laws of divorce and marriage, the laws of family relationships, and how we handle hard moments in those relationships. We're given laws about fair wages and fair treatment of employees, and how we collect our debts, and how we hold others accountable, and how we hold others accountable for the sins of their family members. Lots of these laws are about fairness and about how we treat those that are vulnerable. But what's really fascinating to me is that so many of these commandments, these instructions, start with the same word. They start with ki. It's two letters in Hebrew, a kaf and a yud, and it's ki or vechi or some variation thereof. And the word ki, and so actually 30 of the 110 verses that are in the portion of Ki Teitzei start with some variation of the word ki. And so ki, the word, when you look it up, what it says is that it means that or when or if or for. It's one of those like preposition words that sort of can take any form in a sentence. And so I'll give you some examples. In Ki Teitzei, the very first verse of our Torah portion says, when you or if you go out to war, Ki Teitzei lemilchama. Yatsa mimitzrayim, you guys know that one, right? You go out of the land of Egypt. It's the same root, Teitzei. So it's Ki Teitzei, when you go out, or if you go out, lemilchama, to war. And there's a whole bunch of other sentences that start the exact same way. If, that, okay. But interestingly, the first time that we see the word ki in our Torah is very early on in Bereshit, in the book of Genesis, in a verse that you probably will recognize, Vayar Adonai et haor ki tov, and God saw the light, and it was good, right? It's like the fourth verse in the Torah that we see the word ki. So interestingly, we translate that, and God saw the light, and it was good. Or, and God saw that the light was good. And then the next sentence is Vayavdel, that God separated the light from the darkness. Okay? So one of our commentators, Sforno, says that perhaps ki is going to use one of its other meanings here. If you look up ki in the dictionary that we use to look up Torah words, where we see all of the different places that they exist and all of the different meanings that they have, it actually has a million different meanings. And in modern Hebrew, ki means because. That's what you're taught when you're like a kid learning Hebrew, is I did this thing, ki, this other thing. I did this thing because I did this thing. And it's very clear ki does not really mean anything but because. And Sforno says that's the translation that we should use when we're talking about God creating light. And God saw the light, and because it was good, God separated the light from the darkness. And it changes the whole meaning. That the separation happens because of the nature of the light. Interesting. So what happens if we take that idea, the because translation of ki, and we apply it to all of the laws that are given that start with ki in our Torah portion, Ki Teitzei? So let's take this first one. If you go out to war, and it's talking about how you deal with the spoils of war. But what if it wasn't if? What if our verse said, because you will go out to war? Here are the instructions about how you do that compassionately. And then a few verses later, we get the instructions for how we deal with our rebellious children, instructions that are hard. But what if instead of, if you have a son or a child that is wayward and rebellious, ki yihyeh leish ben sorer umoreh, what if it said, because you will have a son that will be a little wayward and rebellious, here are some instructions that will get you through that. And the way that you might read those instructions might change if we knew that we all had rebellious children. And then in chapter 21, we get later into the portion, and it says, in verse 22, if a man is guilty of a capital offense and you put him to death, these are hard laws, and you put him to death, you have to bury him the same day. You cannot leave him there hanging. That's not what we do. We must bury them the same day, even if we have punished them with death. But what if instead of if you put a man to death, it said, because a man will be guilty of a capital offense, and because you will want to put him to death, know that you will still have to deal with him compassionately. We don't leave these bodies laying around. We even in our most violent moments, we still have compassion. Or a little bit later, we get this amazing and famous rule that if you happen upon a nest when you are on the road, do not take the mother with their young. But again, maybe because instead of if, because you will be on a road and you will happen upon a nest and you will be hungry and you will want to take those eggs or you will want to use those for your benefit, be compassionate. Don't take the mother with their young. So I think that this list of laws that we get in Teitzei is not this happenstance list of random things that's just given to us as these reminders. It's actually an acknowledgement of human nature. It's an acknowledgement of truth. It is because of these inevitabilities and the hard realities of what happens in life that we have these reminders of compassion and dignity. In chapter 22, verse 8, it says, Ki tivne bayit chadash. If you build a new house, don't forget to build a parapet or a fence on your roof. What if it said, because you will build a new house, and because people are not always careful, because we know it is an inevitability that people don't pay attention, build a fence on your roof. Don't let anyone fall off of it. It changes the nature from this, what if you do this thing, and then you should probably do this thing, to a acknowledgement of reality. We're not careful. People fall all the time. They trip. They make mistakes. I was having a conversation with one of my bat mitzvah students yesterday that was one of those that I think will stick with me for a long time. Because when 12 and 13-year-olds get into deep theological conversation and they really handle it well, you remember it. And so this particular student was talking about the Torah portion and asking questions about reward and punishment. And what this student wanted to know was, does God watch? Does God pay attention? Does God care what we're doing? But most of all, does God interfere with what's happening? And how do we understand these reward and punishment conversations in the context of God knowing what's going on? And Teitzei, these laws that we're given, are given in the context of reward and punishment. These are the things that you're supposed to do, so do them. But interestingly, God doesn't reward and punish for commandments or for transgressions that are bein adam lechavero, that are between a person and another person. Maybe at the end of your life there's a reckoning with God. That's a part of our theology. But in the immediate, when you have hurt another person, when you go out to war and you take captives, when someone falls off your roof because you didn't have a fence, that's between you and the other person. It's not between you and God. You have to apologize. They have to forgive you, or they should or can forgive you. But it's not between you and God yet. And so these 74 mitzvot that were given in this parsha, all of these are bein adam lechavero. They are between us and other people. And so where is God in this Torah portion? I think God is in the word ki. God is in the because. God is in the understanding of human nature and of our fallibility. We have these rules because God is in the knowing that we're not perfect. It is because we will fall that we have instructions for getting back up and trying not to make the same mistake again. And so, as you may know, the clergy is sending out to you and giving you, during the month of Elul, a series of questions to help you prepare for these days of awe. And the questions that I'm asking went out today, twice in fact, one from Rabbi Black in error and once from me. And the questions were, Have I been fair in my relationships, personal and professional? Have I taken part in business or personal transactions this year that were against my religious, moral, or ethical principles? They're in your email, and if not, they will be posted on Facebook after this service. But I'm going to ask those questions right now for you, but I'm going to ask them with the key, with the because. And I think it changes the question from a have I done this to an of course I've done this. So how am I going to make it right? So here are the questions. Because I know that I can be unfair, have I been fair in my relationships, both personal and professional? Because I know that I have blurred vision sometimes when it comes to the lines between right and wrong, have I taken part in any business or personal transactions this year that were against my religious or moral or ethical principles? Because I know that I don't often recognize my own privilege, have I taken advantage of those who are vulnerable to me, or intentionally or unintentionally abused my positions of power? Because this year has been especially trying, and I know that I have I ignored or been impatient to those I love the most? Because I know that this list is long, who are the people that I have wronged that I need to ask to forgive me? Because I know that I am stubborn and that I hold grudges, will I be able to forgive those who come to me to ask for my forgiveness? And because I know that I have let some people down, I must ask, for whom am I responsible? And have I done enough to care for each of them? And so I give you the gift of the key, the word key, the because we know that we are so not perfect. Because we know that we have messed up this year. We know that we have done all of these things wrong. We have not been fair. We have not been righteous. We have not been careful. We have not taken care in our relationships the way that we need to. We can take off the pressure of thinking, have I this year or haven't I this year? Probably we have. I know I have. So, because we know that we will make those mistakes, how then can we use the instructions that we're giving about how we find compassion, how we treat other people, to identify those places, to work hard to seek forgiveness, and to try to do a little bit better next year? And with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. And we turn now to the reading of some of those mitzvot in our Torah service today. We have a number of people, as usual, that are going to be with us in our Torah service. First of all, the Eber family, Michael and Julie and Matthew. And I don't know if Andrew's in the video or not. I can't tell from my notes, but maybe Andrew, because we are celebrating tomorrow, Andrew becoming a bar mitzvah. This has been a long time in coming. And so we are so excited to celebrate with Andrew and with the Ebers tomorrow as he becomes bar mitzvah or celebrates becoming bar mitzvah. Our Torah reading from the Parashat Teitzei will be the wonderful Lynn Sunshine, who is reading Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 13 through 19. And our Torah translator, our esteemed Board of Trustees member, Larry Kaplan. Thank you so much. We're so excited to hear your translation. And then the Eber family back for our post-Torah blessing. And so with that, I turn it over to the Ebers to take us into our Torah service.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Lo yeh lecha b'chisecha even v'aven gadola uktana. Lo yeh lecha b'beitecha Eifa v'eifa, gedola uktana. Tzedek yelach Eifa shlema Tzedek yelach Leman yarichu yamecha al Adama Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach Ki tavat Adonai Elohecha kol osei la kol osei abel Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek Baderech b'tzeitchem mimitzrayim asher karecha baderech v'izak neir b'cha kol haneshalim acharecha v'ata ayef ve'ayagea ve'lo yarei Elohim ve'haya ve'chaniach Adonai Elohecha lecha mikol oyevecha misaviv ba'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha nachala l'rishta timecha et secher Amalek mitachat Hashem ma'im lo tishkach.
You shall not have in your pouch alternate weights, larger and smaller. You shall not have in your house alternate measures, a larger and a smaller. You must have completely honest weights and completely honest measures. If you are to endure long on the soil that the Eternal your God is giving you. For everyone who does those things, everyone who deals dishonestly, is abhorrent to the Eternal your God. Remember what Amalek did to you on your journey after you left Egypt. How undeterred by fear of God he surprised you on the march, when you were famished and weary, and cut down all the stragglers in your rear. Therefore, when the Eternal your God grants you safety from all of your enemies around you, in the land that the Eternal your God is giving you as a hereditary portion, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
That was beautiful. Thank you everyone for your participation. Lynn, that was beautiful, beautiful reading. Thank you so much. And a lovely translation, Larry. And the Ebers, the first video had no Matthew, but then you were all in the second one. And I would like for all of the blessing videos to be in such a beautiful location. I don't think that was like a green screen behind you, like the virtual background on Zoom. I think you guys were actually in the gorgeous mountains. So thank you for your blessings. Mazel tov to you on this amazing, amazing occasion this weekend. We're so excited to celebrate with you. And with all of that beauty in our service and in our Torah study and reading, we turn now to our Mishberach, to our prayer for healing, as we think of those that might need just a little extra love this Shabbat. So as usual, we will sing the first verse, pause to read the list of names that we know of that are people in need of healing, and invite you to join in with any names that you think of as well. And then we will continue with the second verse.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say
Today we are praying for Zachary Hoffman, David Karner, David Lustig, Marcia Richter. Oh, I'm sorry, Marcia Richter passed today. She is not on this list anymore. Paul Kamensky, Dr. Catherine Carey McCallie, Natalie Mosier, Corey Franklin, Margaret Glubach, Bob Connolly, Lori Markman, Jeff Cohn, David Goldenberg, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Stuart Myers, Zell Friednash, Sani Talpers, Jerry Butter, Kimball Babcock, Shanti Hassan, Robert Tucker, Jennifer Brynan, Lynn Pollitt, Sarah Lynn McIntyre, Lynn McLaughlin Cromar, Cynthia Friedland, Dana Huss, Harold Gluscoder, Betsy Appel, Louis Karsh, Robin Huss, Joe Kaufman, Mandel Winter, Nancy Schwader, and Sandra Goralnik. For all of those, and for anyone else that you are thinking of, anyone that is in your heart or your mind, remember, it doesn't matter whether we say it or you type it or say it out loud. Put those names into the comments box or out into the world. Baruch atah Adonai makor harefuah. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of all healing.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
We continue now with the conclusion of our service as we rise as we are able physically or spiritually for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu gemishpachot adama, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And we, as usual, spend a little bit of time calling into our minds and into our midst the names of those who are no longer with us, and for whom this Shabbat marks a significant moment in their passing. Those that we have lost in the last week: Sarah Hagerman, Marcia Richter, and Amil Ben Yitzchak. Those that we have lost in the last month: Kaya Gwendolyn Dunham, Barbara M. Glazer, Marion Goldman, Harriet Saper, Rabbi Adine Steinsaltz, Robert Weber, Susan Elaine Weil, and Elaine Botwinick Wolfenson. And we add those names to the list of our Yortzites, those for whom this Shabbat marks the anniversary of their passing years ago: David W. Aaron, Betty R. Alpert, Ben Altman, George Barani, Mabel Berman, Kevin Scott Blacker, Aaron Blankfeld, Harold Hal Blumenthal, Harold S. Bobb, Diane R. Hoffman Broida, William H. Cohen, Mitchell D. Ehrlich, Helen Feldman, Cindy Feynman, Milton Fine, Hyman Friedman, John Gass, Jenny Z. Goldberg, Richard A. Harris, Estelle Borwick Herstein, Abraham M. Hyman, John Camlett, Randall Allen Karsh, Rosalie Katz, Felicia L. Kopf, Samuel L. Quartz, Neil E. Lander, Stanley M. Lester Reed, Michael Levin, A. Jack Levy, Mose Marks, Alan L. Merkin, Simon Miller, Max D. Newstetter, Nancy R. Newstetter, Belle Perlmutter, Helen Golder Plotka, Dr. Julius Pomerantz, Sarah S. Radetsky, Josephine Rodman, Daniel Rudolph, Ethel Schiffer, Julius F. Seaman, Lena Brodsky Seth, Saul F. Seth, Robert A. Silverberg Jr., Sarah Simmons, Emma Ruth Schulman, Irving J. Bud Schwader, Eugene Slade, Evelyn R. Snyder, Belford Stryker, Paula R. Taylor, Felix L. Weil, Sophie Weinstein, Doris E. Wilmore, Joseph Zaderman, and Martin Zinn. And finally, we add 10 names from the city of Colleen, from the beautiful community for whom our chapel, our Colleen chapel, is dedicated: František Parkas, Jan Parkas, Yuli Parkusova, Marta Parkusova, Zdenek Parn, Julius Pas, Hermina Paskova, Rosalie Pasarova, František Pick, and Karel Pick. If there are others that you are thinking of this Shabbat, put their names into that comment box so that we can hold them close with you as we rise, as we are able, if that is your custom, spiritually or physically, and join together in the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgarash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei uvyamei uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ule'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen.
So long as we live, they too shall live. They are now a part of us. They are now a part of us. They are now a part of us. As we remember, we remember, we remember.
Well, before we conclude, we should make sure that we know what's happening for the rest of Shabbat. And this is a super light Shabbat because there's only 2 B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow, which is different than 4. But we are very excited to celebrate with these amazing families. So tomorrow at 9 o'clock a.m., we will be celebrating the bat mitzvah of Goldie Pregelman with Rabbi Black. We will also at 9 o'clock be celebrating Shabbat. If you are a young family or a tot, or you just are one of those people that really likes to come to Young Family Shabbat and watch tomorrow, Tova and Charlie celebrate Shabbat with Cantor Sax.
True story. Yeah, that's basically how it goes. So, yeah.
9 a.m. here on Facebook Live. At 10 o'clock a.m., Torah study will be with me. Don't forget that you can join in 2 ways. You can either go to register for the Zoom link on Woofu that is available to check out on your e-notes, or you can join here on Facebook Live. At 11 o'clock, we will have the community service with myself and Steve Brodsky. And at 11:30, we will celebrate Andrew Eber becoming Bar Mitzvah with Cantor Sax. Very exciting. And then, of course, at 7 o'clock, Shabbat does, in fact, 7 o'clock-ish, Shabbat will end. But we will celebrate Shabbat ending, or acknowledge it, at 7 with Rabbi Black here on Facebook Live. Did I miss anything? I think that was it.
No missing. I just wanted to add a couple things.
Please.
Because there is high holiday information coming out very, very soon. Imminently, realistically, very early next week. And you will be receiving a full schedule electronically. It's also going to go out in the mail so that people can start to prepare for what our holiday is going to look like this year. Some things are very much the same. Some things are a little bit different. So I'd say when we start to send out that material, definitely take the time to look at it and understand what's going on. There'll be a lot of opportunities to ask questions as well. 2 quick things I wanted to particularly pay attention to. One is, if you sound the shofar, beginner, intermediate, or advanced, any level of shofar sounder, we are asking you to make a video of yourself sounding 1 Tekiah Gedola. That's the really big one. You're actually going to hear it in a minute, so hold tight. But we would like a video of you doing that so that we can create a shofar montage of our congregation that is going to be used during the high holy days. So please, if you are interested, there will be instructions going out in the e-notes and in other communications in the next week or so. And then the other thing is if you are a high holy day usher, which many of our congregants are, we are also asking that you record a greeting so that you can help us make everyone feel welcome in this new environment. So look for those pieces of information before the high holy days, and we are just so excited that our whole congregation is going to get to help us make everyone feel welcome and holy, and hopefully a little bit happy on these high holy days. So yes, look for that.
Awesome. And with that, let's make Kiddush.
Great idea. Let's do that. Here we go. So grab your glass of grape juice or wine if you have it, and we bless together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'masei v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrei kodesh zecher l'tzion mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. And motzi, we bless our Shabbat with our bread from the earth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Breath of life, we share with all the creatures of earth. Pass through the horn of this animal with the hope that we can transcend the animal within us. Baruch atah Adonai shomea teruah. Blessed are you, Adonai, who hears the sounding of the shofar.
Tekiah, shvarim teruah. Tekiah gedolah. Thank you, Larry Jacobs, one of our main shofar sounders for the whole High Holy Days, for helping us usher in the spirit of a new year. And so we end as we began, in the spirit of the circle of the new year, of returning and returning again and again to ourselves, to our community, and to God. We return. We return.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha. We ask, God, that this week be a week of reflection as we continue our preparations for the high holy days, that we can be ready for them when they come. And that even as we do that preparation, we ask that you help us remember that we were never intended to be perfect. And that this work that we are doing is a part of the process of becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be right now. And we know that because we are human, we will always have work to do. And so we do this important reflection and introspection, but with the knowledge that we should be kind to ourselves and compassionate to ourselves as we investigate this past year in our own selves. And we ask you, God, Tatzidenu l'shalom v'tadrichenu l'shalom, that our footsteps shall be guided in peace and our paths shall all be paved with peace. We say together, Amen, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.